Welcome to the T-Pac Arcade. Today's game is Rockman 2 for the Nintendo Famicom. In this 1988 action platformer from Capcom, Dr. Wily is back with a new band of evil robots, and it's up to the not-evil robot Rockman, or Mega Man for those of us here in the West, to turn him into scrap metal. Rockman 2 is some of the purest action platforming you'll find on the 8-bit Nintendo. You've got a variable jump that's finely tuned to the action button's input pressure, a standard cannon, and an increasing array of selectable weapons. The main game has 8 levels that you can tackle in any order, where you hop and beam your way through themed stages before facing off against the resident robot masters. And when you beat them, you inherit their weapon to use in any of the following levels. Just be sure to maintain the power meter on those weapons by picking up refill capsules. Nothing is worse than running out of juice on the weapon you need, right where you need it the most. It's like eating all your movie theater popcorn while you watch the trailers and having nothing but a sad, empty bag for the feature. Except here, the consequence isn't a slightly diminished movie-going experience, it's death by Sentient Electric Fan, aka Airman. Aside from the boss weapons, you also get some bonus platform powers, which let you summon moving pedestals to float safely over and around hazards. You can even use these to cheat your way past certain annoying stage setups, like those drawn-out wire ride sections where a bunch of wide-eyed tin cans endlessly drift at you no matter how many times you shoot them down. Sometimes it is more rewarding to get through stage hazards the old-fashioned way though. My favorite parts of Rockman 2 were actually Heatman's blinking blocks that have a habit of disappearing from underneath you with no respect for the law of conservation of mass, Bubbleman's spiky mine tunnels that you navigate with floaty underwater jumps as if Rockman swallowed a balloon, and Quickman's laser gauntlet that requires just as much outsmarting as outrunning. In general, I had a lot more fun with the obstacle-based gameplay than the enemies. Most of them just take way too many hits to destroy, and I never found a reliable way to avoid getting blasted with their projectiles. Never thought a robot bunny could manage to upset me, but if I get hit with one more metal carrot rocket, I'm gonna lose it. Same goes for the bosses. Considering how bad I am at Rockman games, I basically approached every Robot Master battle as a war of attrition, just frantically running around and shooting in the hope that I could land enough blows to drain all their health before they drained all of mine. This made the second half of the game especially painful. Once you beat the 8 Robot Masters, you work your way through several stages of Dr. Wily's fortress, and although the stages can be enjoyable, some of the boss fights here require near-perfect execution to win, like the room full of wall-mounted blaster beads and blocky barricades. You can only blow them up with Clashman's bombs, but you don't have enough Clashman bombs to make even a single mistake, or else you're done for. Run out of explosives? Well, enjoy standing around trapped in a purple metal prison, waiting helplessly to get deep-fried by laser beams. If I could change one thing in Rockman 2, I'd omit the fortress stages altogether, and just skip right from the 8 main levels to the boss fight with Dr. Wily. It's like what I tell myself when I'm purging excess junk from my apartment. I really don't need all these empty cardboard boxes, and Rockman 2 really doesn't need another underwater mine stage. Unfortunately, that would mean axing the dragon boss, which is one of the coolest characters in the game. But Rockman has plenty of other fantastic designs to make up for it, like the aforementioned Sentient Electric Fan, aka Airman, the circus clown enemies that roll atop giant gears, the little coaster dudes who uncoil with a spring and wave around like doorstoppers with googly eyes, and the cloud gremlins who throw lightning bolts at you like robotic Greek gods. I could go on, considering how basically every character here is a triumph of appealing 8-bit sprite art. And the stage graphics are just as good. They're all basically variations of a factory setting, but somehow each level is still distinct, based on the given Robot Master theme. Rockman 2 is equally successful with its sound design. Every single chiptune in the game is a winner, and even though the sound effects are a little too squeaky for me, they certainly do the job. Except for that ear-piercing alarm noise that plays after you beat Dr. Wily's alien form. Winning the game should probably reward you with some kind of victory theme, not a siren that makes your ears bleed. I had a really hard time with the challenge level in Rockman 2, and it's all due to the tanky enemies whose patterns I couldn't seem to counter no matter how hard I tried. I even resorted to bookmarking each boss battle with save states to spare me from getting sent back to the beginning of each level at game over. That being said, the most novel aspect of Rockman 2 is how certain weapons are crazy effective against certain bosses. For example, using the bubble power on Heatman takes him out in just a few hits, cause fire no like water. And Metal Man's saw blade projectiles seem to be the primary weakness for like 3 or 4 other bosses. Does that make the power-up system unbalanced? Maybe, but realistically, who's gonna question the efficacy of literally throwing handsaws at bad guys? Nobody's gonna walk away from that unscathed. Overall, I can't really say I enjoyed my time with Rockman 2, but I thought Rockman 1 was okay, so I'm not deterred from trying out the rest of the 8-bit series. Especially if that means more fun, googly-eyed robot characters and ridiculously overpowered hardware store weapons of mass destruction.